Hello everybody, greetings! Welcome to Tokyo during a typhoon. And you can see it's raining right now, it's starting to pick up. I always want to kind of give you an idea of what it's like to be in different kinds of weather, because it does impact your stay very much when you do come to Tokyo. I'm not too far away from Ginza in a residential neighborhood, and I wanted to show you around, give you an idea. It's kind of crazy right now. Check it out here. So basically, if you take a look at this, we have the weather is really crazy right now. The Typhoon Mawar, which is coming into Tokyo, into the Japan area, is bringing a heck of a lot of rain, about 25 inches of rain. About 25 centimeters of rain, which is, if you look at a yardstick, it's like a quarter of a yard of rain that is coming in. But more than that, this typhoon is going to be coming right across Tokyo from the seaside. So that's going to be creating massive amounts of swells, really powerful waves hitting on the coastal regions of Japan, and this is going to cause a lot of trouble. So I'm a little bit worried about some of the coastal regions, especially up in Tohoku. Hopefully it's not as strong as it was when it went through Guam. I don't think it's going to be, because the seas aren't quite as warm as it is up here. As it The typhoon hit is possible anytime between now, June, and October. Even November, we can get typhoons, and they just kind of come around the Pacific, and Japan is like a magnet for these storms. They just kind of come and like start to pivot up towards Japan. And this really can impact your trip, because what do you do on a typhoon day? What do you do on a day like this? Now you can see that the weather is just going to continuously get worse and worse as the day goes on. And then tomorrow, quick tip for anybody who is actually in Tokyo: you want to go to the observation deck, go to places like Tokyo Skytree or the Bunkyo Civic Center or the Tokyo Metropolitan Buildings platform first thing in the morning, and usually you get these clear views to Mount Fuji that rival winter. It is amazingly viewed because the typhoons usually push everything out of the way. So if you are in Tokyo the next day, if it's sunny out, that's the best time to go, because the skies are the clearest following a typhoon. I don't know if it's going to be the case this time, but just a little bit of inside knowledge, since I've been through many typhoons here. Oh my gosh, so you can see the water's really starting to come down. But the wind isn't here yet, so we're going to see what happens in the course of the day. My wife has already brought in all the things off of the balcony. So that's another thing you have to consider. Laundry came inside, for example. Things like that, because you do get wet. All windows are closed and locked. It doesn't really matter about the strength of the typhoon, because you don't know, because over the course of the last 30 minutes walking around here, I've had lots of gusts of wind just come. And again, like an earthquake, you can't predict how all of a sudden it can hit you. Umbrellas become almost useless in a typhoon as well. And the wind, if you are in a strong one, comes in and hits you like bullets. It really does hurt. Nothing can stop it. You just have to go indoors. And then again, you never know with flash flooding and things like this. It could have been really heavy on the sides of mountains, and the water could just rush into the river and create big... I've seen it on TV. The longer you live in Japan, you see the news footage where it just sweeps away cars on bridges and things like this. But more than that, the one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize about Japan is we have earthquakes, we have volcanoes, eruptions, we've got tsunamis, we've got typhoons, and why am I smiling? The biggest thing that people forget about in this time of year are landslides. Japan also has a ton of hills, mountains. It's part of being in a volcanic area as well. You just have lots of land that has slopes. And when it rains like this and doesn't stop, they've created as much protection as possible, even cementing the sides of hills but landslides can happen at any time. And if you've ever seen, go to Google and Google Atami landslide. This was about 3-4 years ago before the pandemic hit, and it was absolutely horrifying to see how how fast it can move and how devastating moving land is during a time like this. You have earthquakes that are kind of jostling the land, and then you couple that up with this too. Oh man, it's a recipe for disaster, and that's one of the scariest things for me, to live out in the countryside. WRX Turbo is in the house. I haven't said that in a long time. And Kenny876, I'm in Adachi, Tokyo right now at a friend's house. Hole up there today is gonna be kind of a waste of a day. It might be better to just put on Netflix and watch a couple of movies or something. Look at that, already this tree is flooded. I'm gonna take you right now down to the Sumida River, and I wanna get a look at what it's like on the Riverside. So this live stream is gonna go on for about 20 minutes or so. I hope you stick with me to the end. You never know what's gonna happen. We'll take a look at what the sky tree looks like. I brought you through this neighborhood quite a bit. This is Tsukuda in Tokyo's Chuo Ward, and it's I don't know, it's like 10 minutes away from Ginza by bicycle or something like that. You can walk here in 20 minutes, and it feels like you're not in Tokyo. It's just such an amazing neighborhood. All right, so we're heading down the streets here. You can see some of these alleys. They have pretty good drainage. Tokyo in general has really good drainage. You can see it's all flowing underground into pipes that eventually lead out to the river. I think so. There was everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people know about the special rain cavern, I guess you could call it, up in North Tokyo, where all the rainwater collects, and then I guess they process it and put it back into the river. But it's basically looks like the largest man-made cave in the world. It's massive. Japan does a really good job of controlling the water in the city. Because you have an urban area like Tokyo, everything just hits the pavement and then rolls off into here, and then it goes somewhere else. Weren't there large concrete caves under the city to hold the floodwater? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. One of my wife's dreams is to dance down there. The acoustics must be out of like amazing in that man-made concrete cavern. All right, this direction will take us to the river, and we'll get a chance to look at what the Sumida River is like right now as a typhoon is starting to hit. I'm already drenched. The gimbal is wet. I kind of started a little bit late because I had to tape up the microphone, try to make sure that the audio and everything stayed good, no water got into the ports, and it's always a concern. The wind isn't too bad, nor the rain right now. That's why I'm out in the beginning of it. You do want to stay safe in a typhoon. You don't want to be outside because things can fly and hit you. But you can see, obviously, it's just the start of it. I love this area. See, there's a bird over there in the distance. Take shelter, my friend. Typhoon is not all about the wind either. It's more complex. It's more complicated. You can be impacted by the typhoon. Now here comes the wind. Oh! All right. Hopefully the mic is, I can't, I'm gonna put it's swirling winds right now. It's not coming from any particular direction. You can be impacted by typhoons in many different ways. A typhoon can happen in a different region, and then the water hits a mountain, creates flooding in a separate region that's hundreds of kilometers away, and it impacts it. I think that happened in Nagano. These Shinkansen lines were underwater in 2018, I think? 2017 or 2018. And one of the things that we did with this community was a fireworks project on the banks of the flooded rivers that we're still trying to recover. A lot of economic damage there in Nagano as a result of a typhoon. And it wasn't a strong typhoon. It didn't have a lot of strong winds and things like this, if I recall. It was just like a depression, a tropical typhoon depression that just sat there and just kept raining until things could not handle it anymore. So typhoons do damage in so many different ways. But I think Japan as a country is really set up for that. I went to university at Ohio State. I think everybody knows that. And one of the people in a class or two ahead of me was Mike Bettis, who's a storm chaser for the Weather Channel. And then we had a couple of classes where we would, where am I going with this? When we would tease the girl in front of us by flicking rubber bands in her hair. That was a while ago. But anyways, he's a storm chaser now. Nice guy. We had a lot of fun. He was where was he? We were in the same dorm. All right, we're coming up onto the river here, just to the left. I think he almost lost his life chasing a tornado a few years ago. King of Shibuya, there's no, it doesn't make any sense. I'm just, stream of consciousness. That's what I remember of things that we did. He was a very popular guy. Yeah, that's a pretty funny comment right here. Who do we got? A lot of natural disasters, no need for Godzilla. Juan writes in here, absolutely no need for Godzilla. And I hope that he stays home because this is not a good day for it. All right, we've come up upon the Sumida River. You can see there are just puddles everywhere. It's not too bad right now. I'm thinking in a few hours, the wind is really gonna pick up. If you've come to Tokyo and you've not been to this spot, I do recommend it, especially during the cherry blossoms. It is an island here. Tsukuda is what it's called, the tip here. This part of it is all original rock, and then this is all man-made out of here. And it's a pretty cool place to come. I'm here quite a bit. I love this area. See, Brandanya's in the house. Wow, the river is a little bit higher. Let's go down. Oh, I'm soaked to the bone. I got on sandals. I know it's not gonna be a pretty day. Wow. All right, the river is kind of high. Sometimes when the boats go by here and the river is high, the water will spill onto the banks and it makes it impassable for a day. But the city over the last couple of years has really been improving the drainage along the river sides as well. So whoa, that was a bit of a wind burst here. This umbrella might be useless in a little bit. Oh God, I'm starting to really feel the wind behind me. All right, it's swirling around. I shouldn't be. You can see the trees are moving. Do you feel the wind now, my friend? The leech is here. Thank you for sharing this beautiful scenery. How long is the typhoon expected to last? It should be completed in the next. It should be over by tomorrow. It's just rolling by here, and as it rakes western Japan right now, Skytree would be right in front of us. We can't even see it. It would be right in between, right in front of us, but it's not. Past the bridge, can't see it at all. Hey, yeah, Jimmy, this is where I ate the $250 mango. What a memory! Wow. Wow. Okay, it's really starting to pick up here. Oh. All right, I think I timed this live stream right because I don't think I could do this in an hour from now. There are birds that are flying over the Sumida River that are having a hard time. Look at that. I don't think you can see it. But they're going up and down in the wind. Seek shelter! Yelling out to the birds. Not sure if they speak English. Wow! All right, there's a strong wind behind me. It comes in gusts right now. Oh man. You can see from this angle, if we compare it to about 15 minutes ago on the streets, I should have started out here maybe, but you can see the clouds above are moving quite quickly now, and you're starting to see bands of it, which is interesting. Carrie, I know I've seen the weather, so I know where to go. Now this was the path of it a couple of days ago. You can see this is pretty much on course for the typhoon. It really hit Guam hard, and my heart goes out to a lot of the people there that lost their homes. It was a devastating storm. Went right past there, and then the tail end of it really hit hard, and then it hit the north part of the Philippines, or came close to it, and hit Okinawa, and now it's coming up towards Japan, and it should pass to the east side of Tokyo. But this also creates a lot of waves and winds coming into it, and the bands will hit us, but it's not going to be like a full all-out central hit. This is a Typhoon Mawar, I believe it's what it's called. But in Japan, if you said Mawar, nobody would know what you're talking about, because domestically we do not give names to typhoons. We give numbers. This is typhoon number 2. Number 2. This typhoon is doing a number 1 actually, but typhoon number 2. So Mawar is like, what? You know what? I think it's stupid to give names to typhoons. I think the way that Japan does it is perfect. You could just see the sky tree. Do you see that? Oh my gosh. It showed itself, and then it's going to disappear again in the clouds, I bet. You can see the birds struggling as they fly around. I'm going to go back up onto the path here. That's me walking. If you can hear the squeaking. Like, I'm not dumb. I'm not coming in with leather shoes or something like that. If we're lucky, maybe we'll see an empty space boat as the poor captain still has to go ahead and fly his boat. The reason why, maybe because they're considered a bus, Sweejo bus. I don't know. Maybe they have to stay on schedule like all of the public transportation, I guess. Not sure. We'll get a better view of the Tokyo Skytree, and in about 45 seconds as we walk underneath this bridge here. This is the Chuodori, very famous in a lot of Japanese TV dramas, romantic. But I've noticed A few years ago, why am I telling you this stuff? A lot of the AV industry photos of the ladies are taken in this area. So you'll see some incredibly beautiful women being photographed here. And I don't know who these people are, but a friend of mine did and told me, and he seems starstruck, so that tells me a lot about him. Just saying. Jared's here. Yes, it's only 10 more days to Hawaii. That's kind of crazy. Oh, you can see Skytree in the center of the screen right now. Power Logic's in the house. Bradshaw Studios, 34 months as a member. Thank you. Wow, okay. I'm gonna put the umbrella away. It's basically worthless. And let's see the Skytree here. All right, it's showing itself now. It was more in clouds just a minute ago. But it comes in bands, and as you're watching, it just could be disappear again. That's the nature of the typhoon. Not the greatest day to go up in the Skytree, but tomorrow will be the best. You can already see it's starting to flood a little bit on the riverbanks. It's not too high actually, but I believe it's going to get higher, and maybe tomorrow. Here's another thing. Just because the typhoon is over, that doesn't mean it's over. The rain leaves so much water out there, and it takes a while before it comes down into Tokyo. So I've seen the next day after typhoons, the rivers being really, really high as water is rushing really, really fast despite having blue skies. But right now we have swirling skies. You can see the band. And the wind is picking up as we started the live stream. Look at that cloud moving. Oh man. Mother Nature. Skytree is starting to disappear a little bit. Wow. Yeah, I'll be in Hawaii on the 11th of June to the 14th, filming a couple of episodes for Only in Japan on a theme that I think surprised me when I found this information. And I'm really excited to see Michael, Brandania, Jared, Photo Luke Hawaii, everybody. I'm sure I'm missing a ton of people, but we'll try to do a meetup when we get there, and I'll give you more information probably on Facebook, Instagram, all the social medias, Discord server, of course, about the location. A place that we can find parking pretty easily, I think, would be good. And suggestions are helpful. Shout out to Brandania. Thank you for everything. I owe you like a really big lunch or something. I owe you some pancakes. Oh, look at the birds. They're really struggling. Wow. So if you are up there, you probably have a view. I wonder what it is of. I wonder what people can see up there right now. All right, let's go up onto the bridge. There's a guy there and he's cooking with a gas stove under the bridge. That's smart. I love being outside in the rain, but I'm not sure if a typhoon is the right time to be out and about. I am right now, but the journalistic reasons to be out here. It's not a dangerous time right now. We all have our eye on the weather report. Right before this, I was watching NHK. You can see right there, the weather report does not look good. The whole country is covered in rain. It is something of a mess. And I love the stick with the tennis ball at the end of it that the guy from NHK uses. A lot of the news here in Japan will use cutouts like they did in the 1970s. I love that. So it employs a lot of people. That's one really good thing. It's also creative. Who doesn't love arts and crafts? We all studied it in like preschool. Finally, that skill comes to use, but these cutouts are really, really, really well done. Even the show that I'm on called TBS Hirobi every now and then to talk about tourism to Japan, to the domestic audience here. They have some amazing cutouts in the studio, and I just stop and I look at them and I'm mesmerized by the creativity that they do. It's not AI generated, it's all a team of people. Oh, that guy lost his umbrella. That umbrella is done. Oh, maybe not. Good recovery, bro. Wow. That's the wind that's pushing the camera right now. Wow. Wow, it's at my back. Woo! The water's getting inside my jacket. Ah! Ah! Okay. All right, it's time to go inside now. I'm starting to feel it. Yeah, Hans writes in here, baby hurricane. Oh my God. You guys there? Hello? Everybody there? Oh my God. Did you hear me using 4-letter words as a notification came on and totally deleted? What happened? Okay, we're good, Saya, we're still here. Oh, you could hear the 4-letter words? Oh my gosh. Ah! Well, I've got an excuse. This weather. Actually, you know what? You don't get a lot of thunder and lightning and typhoons. What you get is a lot of wind and rain, and the wind is initially the most dangerous thing. And then the rain and the aftermath, landslides and whatnot, also contribute quite a bit to the damage and what makes it dangerous. Your mic is blocking the wind really well, really. Oh, whoa, whoa! Look at this poor soul. Umbrellas are worthless. Oh, he's got a baby? Oh my gosh. All right. I'm here for support. If he needs support, I'm here for support. That's really harsh. Sometimes you just gotta make it, man. As a father, I know he's struggling to get home. I'm gonna just make sure he's okay. There's some bicyclists that are coming. They're like bundled up like it's a contagion. Did you see that? They were bundled up like it was... I hadn't seen people like that since the start of the pandemic. They're bundled up like from their entire body. I guess that's what you have to do if you're gonna... They're hardcore bikers. Well, they're hardcore dressed for biking, but I wouldn't say a one-speed bicycle makes them hardcore bikers. Would you? He's doing okay. It's still okay, but I don't know, in 10 minutes, man, I'd probably get a taxi. You're not going to see a lot of people walking down this road anymore. But it is quite a sight when they do. I remember the days. I remember the days where I was carrying Leo on my chest like that. I always felt I couldn't stop laughing either because I thought it was a scene from the Schwarzenegger's Total Recall. I was like that monster coming out of his stomach, except it was Leo. I was like, what? I love those little front baby carriers. What was the name of that creature that Schwarzenegger that was in the Total Recall? I can't even recall. Quato or something? I can't remember. I think it was Quato. We do get a lot of lightning, Heather. We have some tropical storms that'll come through here quite a bit. But you know, you don't get a lot of, you don't get, it's not like the tropical storms I've seen in like Darwin in Australia or down in that region, Papua New Guinea. I've seen some massive electrical storms. Like the storms that I saw in Darwin when I was there just for a few days, I'd never seen anything like that, ever. It was like lightning, half the sky was lightning. I think lightning strikes twice in Darwin. Michael Sassano, please keep safe. Here's a storm snack fund. Oh, cool, there's some supermarkets. Can I said to get some milk? See, umbrellas are worthless. This lady's very smart. As you always see the people who are trying to go like this, and then that's where their umbrellas break apart. I wonder if they ever make an umbrella made with like titanium steel that will never break in wind. I'd like to see that. No wind, but then it's basically a big sail and you're catching all of the wind, so I can't see any kind of, if it doesn't break, it's just gonna take you with it. That's what we don't, right? If it doesn't break, right now there's no gust of wind, and the gust of wind hits, you can feel it, man. If you got an umbrella, you can't control it. I think mochi will hold up in a typhoon. What? Really? The gusts of winds are coming in stronger now. But Photoline is here. Thank you from Canada. Nice, sunny, warm Canada. I'm just comparing it to this. All right, so yeah, a couple of days ago, I talked to you a little bit about the weather in Japan at this time of year. June is also, besides the typhoons that could hit at any time. And in August, the great thing about August is that if it does rain, and it doesn't rain that much in August that I remember, it's mostly typhoons that bring in the rain. So unless a typhoon comes in August, you usually have really good weather, warm, except that it's quite humid. Oh my gosh, at least it's more sheltered here between the buildings. And I'll try to make my way. I'm gonna wrap back around here and go back over the river. But it's also chillier in June, and May might be warmer than June. The first 2 weeks of June feels colder than it does in the last 2 weeks of May because of the rain and kind of the chill that the water brings that's in the air. I always thought that. I remember doing a location shoot for NHK back in 2016. I was doing in Daisen and on the Totori side quite a bit. I would go there like 2 times a year. And in June, I did 2 episodes in June, and each time I needed pants and long sleeve shirt because it was that chilly, especially in the morning, and in the afternoon it didn't warm up enough where I usually, as a fashion sense, you have zip off cargo shorts. I don't know if they still do that, but if you're coming in June, zip off cargo shorts are really practical. It might not be the most fashionable thing, but that's what I'm wearing most of the time. Because they just are fun. Leo likes it, my son. He sees, oh, I just created shorts. How cool is that? All right, wow. So you can feel that the wind has really picked up since we started. Wow. More people are struggling with their umbrellas. I'll cross the street here and then wrap back around. Again, this is just like 10 minutes from Tokyo Station. It's such a nice residential area of the city. And a lot of people don't realize that Tokyo does have residential areas. Oh my gosh, I don't think you could have, yeah, you could not have an umbrella right now. Not down the street. Oh my gosh, it's. Look at that kid down there. He's swirling. Maybe he's doing that on purpose. I'm gonna cross the street here. John Palmer. My camera is the iPhone 14 Pro. I don't recommend it. I've had lots of little issues with it. But the great thing about it is that it's pretty much waterproof. The gimbal, not so much, but if the gimbal were to die, it would be an excuse to buy a new one, although that's also a waste of money, so I'm not. It does a pretty good job with a little bit of rain. A little bit of rain. Oh. But the bottom line is that if you do come in June, you might get a typhoon, but it's rarer. The times where the weather is the best, probably September, but you can get a typhoon then as well. At any time, you could be hit with, how you doing? At any time, you can be, I wish I'd gone running before this too. He's a smart guy, right before the typhoon winds get really bad. I turned around because that lady lost her umbrella. So, oh, there we go. You can get hit with a typhoon at any time. Oh, please don't lose your umbrella. Wow, it's strong. Charles writes in October's good. Chance of a typhoon increases September and October compared to the rest of the year. October might have the most amount of typhoons that come up to Tokyo. The water's warmer. Right now the water's still kind of cool. It gets warmer in July and August, and the typhoons build up, and then they're attracted to come towards Japan a little bit more. That's been, like, I don't know what the ocean is thinking because it doesn't have a brain, but I get an idea that the storms will follow the warmer weather up, and October we get a fair amount of typhoons. And so I tell anybody who's booking a flight in September and October, take this in consideration and maybe go home a day earlier. Just in case your flight is canceled, you have a kind of a leeway and you don't get in trouble for being late if you are have to get to work or have an important event. It's also nice to get back because of the time difference for people living in the United States. It is quite a big, it's hard to get acclimated back to your normal time because you're gonna wake up at 4 in the morning. Sometimes not a bad thing. Check this out. I just noticed this. There's these things called Loop, L-U-U-P, and you get to ride it. I guess they also have bicycles here. This is new. Riding scooters. I think you need to have a driver's license and pre-register for this service, but looking at it, it's 15 yen per minute. What? I don't know how that makes sense. I don't know. I'm sure they did their research on what people were willing to pay, but this is sort of a new thing. They've made a little parking lot for these. We're starting to see these bicycles, share bicycles and other things, car sharing as well, coming up in Japan, and that's really a good development. I think you have it already in the West, in your country, especially in Europe. I've seen things like that, but in Japan, we're always a little bit behind. Saya, right? My gut reaction is like, what? That's got to be wrong. That sounds kind of expensive. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going back to my boring day of editing the next video. If you haven't already, can I make a play with you? If you haven't already, go check out my latest video. It's called "The World's Greatest Cherry Blossom Tree is a 1,000-Year-Old Masterpiece," and it really is. I put a lot of love into this episode, and for me, it was impressive that one tree could be so darn beautiful and iconic. And this is, I guess, when you think of the cherry blossoms for Japan, you think of this one tree because it does represent. It is maybe the most famous cherry blossom tree in Japan, right there. So that's on the main edited channel. I'm right now working on 3 episodes simultaneously, so there's a lot of stuff to do editing. One of them is a collaboration with my friend Scotty from Strange Parts. We went to the retro vending machine corner and had a look inside of the machines. And he gave his expert opinion on gadgets, on how these things kind of function. And we're gonna do a collab video where he's releasing it on the same day, maybe this weekend. That's the hope. So I gotta get back to editing, and it's gonna be easier with the weather like this. Wow! Oh my gosh. Oh! Whoa! Do you see that? I think it's starting. Oh, it's starting. That one lady lost her umbrella. Let's see the sail here. That's strong! That umbrella! That umbrella took it! Wow! This was borrowed from a hotel too. They said, I called them, they said you could keep it. But it doesn't make, it doesn't look good that I walk around with a hotel's umbrella from another prefecture, so. What's it called? The Sun Valley Hotel. I think that was in Kochi Prefecture. They're very nice. They said just keep it because I'll bring it back one day. I don't know. But actually, Kanai made me call them. We didn't realize I didn't realize I'd taken it until later. It's a good umbrella. I think it might be made of titanium steel. All right, everybody, I'm gonna go get some milk and get back to editing. But it was fun to hang out for a little bit. This is what happens when you come to Japan. You get a typhoon. Looks something like that when it hit Guam. Shout out to our American, my fellow citizens in Guam. Hope you guys are all doing good there. That was when it hit Guam a few days ago, and I'll see you in another live stream probably tomorrow. I'm trying to get Peter back on here to do something with us. We will see. The busy man. It's quite, how should I say this? Busy? I don't know. All right, bye from Typhoonville. See you tomorrow. Sunny days ahead.